Hey guys, this is Ivailo here. I wanted to make a small video to explain how I fixed my air conditioner on my Saab 9.5. So typically what you have here is the blend door that is controlled by this control arm. Here you have like a limiter that is made originally out of plastic, and with age this plastic becomes brittle and snaps. So then what happens if you have a cold on your air conditioning, but normally you wouldn't notice this, so the stepper motor pushes harder and harder on the blend door till eventually something breaks. So typically what happens is because the stepper motor has a reduction, it's very powerful. It breaks the shaft somewhere around here, and then you can put like a aluminum sleeve to catch this arm and fix it. In my case, I was less fortunate, and what happened is basically this arm, this shaft that goes inside of the blend door is keyed here. You see with this small key. And I suppose what happened is that this key got sheared and was no longer controlling the arm. How I recognized this? So basically I went in the car and I was turning this thing, and it was having very little resistance. And also I would notice that, okay, you have like a certain range of motion. So if you put it on one side, it should be hot, and if you put it on the other side, it should be cold. But in my case, I was spinning it, and either I was getting no change in the temperature coming from the vents, or it would be cold here, and then I would spin it a little bit, and then it would end up being hot here. So it would be kind of random. So then I figured, okay, it's broken. And another sign that you can judge that it's broken is the mechanism is designed like this, and basically in this groove here there's like a sector wheel that turns with the air distribution. So basically if you put it on vents or something like this, this wheel here would spin. And this wheel also acts as an emergency stopper for the door. So basically, if you turn it too much, it would hit the edges. If you can imagine this, turning like this, and it would hit the edges of the sector wheel. So then I figured, okay, it's broken. And I bought a second-hand air distribution box from eBay, which actually doesn't fit my car, but that's okay because I managed to figure out how to fix it anyway. So the first thing you need to do is to remove the stepper motor and also kind of this shroud that distributes the air towards the feet of the driver, in my case. So then you have a little bit better access to the whole thing. And my fix, so typically if you have to replace the air distribution box, people say it's 2 to 3 days, and that's even professional people. So for me it was like a very daunting task because I never done it, and also I didn't want to break all kinds of plastics in the car and end up with rattles and unwanted noises, etc. So I decided, okay, is there another way to attempt to fix this? And if you notice here how this looks like, I figured, okay, what would happen if I just put a screw basically through the whole assembly? So first through this disc, and then through this door here. And I figured basically, if you look at the molding, it's a little bit hard to see here with the light, but there is like a line going like this and then like this. So you see like a straight, making a straight angle. And the ideal place to drill is, you see somewhere here I made a mark. So you see kind of 2/3 of the way in the long direction and basically just under the line, and that would end up going through both things, and then you have like two axes to kind of be able to spin the door. Okay, so how I did this, it's really tight axis in there, as you can imagine, so it's really not an easy thing to do, but like I heated up a drill bit and kind of like you can heat up anything, a nail or something, and made a tiny hole here, like a pilot hole for the screw, and then I screwed it until basically I started to feel a resistance when I was turning this thing. A point to notice is that sector wheel here. So in most places it's solid. So when you don't have access to that circle thingy. So what you need to do is you need to put the air distribution on the front vents. Yeah. So you have the front vents, the feet, and you have the dashboard top. So you want to have it towards you, and then you will see like an opening here. Yeah. So that's fine. But what happens is like when you drill through here, you don't know in which position the blend door is going to be. Like chances are it's going to be hanging down, but maybe it's a little bit like this, maybe it's a little bit like that. So basically, if you drill and you drill wrong, you're in trouble. So you need to kind of drill until you and screw this screw until you start to feel resistance of the flap turning, and then be able to turn it all the way until one position and all the way until the other position. So that's really actually the most tricky part. And to make matters worse, the sector wheel here has like a lip in here, and that lip, even on the open position, on the open window that is here, that lip is in the way, and you cannot turn it in both direction, or at least for me it was in the way, because you have to screw it and then turn it. So what I did was I took some side cutters, so some wire snips, and I cut a piece of this sector wheel lip. And like I told you, this lip here is only for like a emergency limitation of this arm movement. So it's not vital for the functioning. So I drilled here this thing and I put it until there was a resistance, and then I turned it a couple of times in all directions. And I think what was happening underneath was something like, okay, if you're pushing a little bit of pressure on this one, it will turn with the flap all the way, and then it will kind of find its center point where you have to drill. So when I was able to turn it in all directions, I drilled it all the way in. And for me, it was a little bit hard to turn at that point, because I guess there was like a stress on the screw pushing on this side of the wall. So then what I had to do was I put the aluminium limiter here, and using this as an arm, I turned the flap a couple of times until I was able to turn it in all the way in. Okay, so that's fine. Then I I screwed the screw all the way in. That's just an example screw. To know what size of screw you need, so you need something about, let's say, at least 15-16 millimeter of screw. And also, I don't know if there's like a downside of putting a too long screw, but it's up to you. Okay, so then I screwed the whole thing in, but there's also another thing that is in the way, and that is that you basically, on this diagram, you put the screw in here, and if the screw head is too high, it will interfere with the sector wheel when it's turning. You see, okay, so you have like both this circular thing turning with the blend door, and this sector wheel turning with the air distribution. So if that head is sticking too much, it will interfere with this one. So you want to have it like lower, and basically that's a little bit of a problem, because once you find where to screw the screw, you have to kind of trust that if you back off the screw and let's say make a nice indentation on the plastic so that you hide the screw head, that everything is gonna stay in place when you want to screw it back in. So for me, I chose to take another approach, and I heated like a white hot a Phillips screw head, Phillips screwdriver, and I pushed it in. So the Phillips screw head would Phillips screwdriver, my apologies, would heat up the screw, and that would melt the plastic just a little bit, and then it would sink in. So that took a few tries actually, because it's rather heat resistant plastic, but at the end I managed to hide the screw head good enough, and so far it's working. I think 7 days I've been driving like this, and yeah, it's an awesome feeling to have hot and cold air on demand, and not whenever your Saab decides to roast you in the summer or blow cold AC air in the winter. So yeah, I hope that helps someone, and good luck to you. Last remark would be to absolutely use aluminum limiting arm on the stepper motor, because if you put another plastic one and it breaks, there is nothing to protect the assembly. Yeah? So you already cut here the sector wheel, and there's also like this arm would be broken, so you would put all the torque on this assembly that is hanging like by a thread, so not a lot. And yeah, it's really not wise to use a plastic one, so put like $20 or something like that and buy the aluminum one. And yeah, I'm not sure how much it's gonna hold, but now with the fix, that thing spins super lightly. Yeah? There is almost no resistance, so I think if something doesn't go wrong, it's gonna survive for a while. But yeah, let's see. All right, thanks everyone. I hope you enjoy. Bye bye.